Even if New York City's towering buildings and landmarks don't captivate you, its thriving arts, cuisine, fashion, and nightlife sectors will. The morning may be spent perusing the designer racks on Fifth Avenue, and the afternoon can be spent taking in the breathtaking cityscapes from the top of the rock observation deck, One World Observatory, or from the back of a helicopter. So make sure to include them in your list if you're a first-time visitor. Here are the top 10 things to do in New York City while on vacation. Make sure to watch until number 1 because it's one of the most amazing places I have ever seen. Don't forget to check out the links in the description to get the best deals on your trip. Number 10. Times Square. Some claim that Times Square, which is dynamic, vibrant, and constantly busy, is a 5-block metaphor for New York City. Some people regard this part of Midtown Manhattan as being devoid of art, expensive, and crowded. At the very least, you should look at its neon lights. The majority of tourists advise going there after dark to enjoy the marquee shows. Many say the best times to accommodate visiting Times Square into your calendar are before or after a Broadway performance. The yearly New Year's Eve ball drop in Times Square's main tourist attraction, the iconic Waterford Crystal Ball of New York. When the ball drops in Times Square in New York, you may see it for free if you're feeling courageous. Number 9. One World Observatory, 9/11 Memorial. The Oculus One World Trade Center, formerly known as Freedom Tower, is the primary structure of the renovated World Trade Center complex in Lower Manhattan. The highest point in the city and the tallest structure in the Western Hemisphere are both home to this observatory. It is located close to the 9/11 Memorial. On clear days, travelers may see up to 45 miles in every direction from the 360-degree panoramic vistas. The observatory is accessible to visitors through skypods. Straight rapid elevators. A graphic display illustrating the evolution of New York over the years, from open space to modest structures to skyscrapers, is included in the ascent. The journey takes under a minute. Number 8. Central Park. Many of the city's most famous attractions are located adjacent to it or inside its boundaries, and this part park, part museum, and part concert hall swallow downtown Manhattan. Travelers, though, stress that you shouldn't simply drive by Central Park on your route somewhere else. Both locals and visitors to New York love this 843-acre park. You can work out, eat, see the zoo, and more here. There are more than 20 playgrounds, 48 fountains, monuments, sculptures, 30 bridges, and an almost unfathomable number of other attractions to view here. Number 7. Iconic buildings. Without its distinctive skyline across Manhattan Island, New York would not be New York. There are a lot of distinctive and well-known structures in the Big Apple. One of New York City's newest architectural wonders is called the Vessel. This interactive piece of art has a spiral staircase that you may climb to get a different perspective on New York. Another name for the 1902-built Flatiron Building is one of the most famous buildings in the world. The Chrysler Building, which was finished in 1930, was the highest structure on Earth at the time. The Empire State Building, which has an observation deck, is now the 5th tallest skyscraper in the country. Number 6. Little Italy and Chinatown. Lower Manhattan's neighborhoods, including Chinatown, are dynamic and memorable. You'll find yourself in the winding streets of Chinatown, where there are colorful piles of produce, succulent ducks hanging in windows, and restaurants, both old and new. After emerging from the steps of the Canal Street subway station onto the sidewalk and meandering past dense crowds, neon light shops, and vendors selling knockoff designer bags, Chinatown, which stretches over Tribeca, Soho, Little Italy, and the Lower East Side, has a long history and was first settled by Chinese immigrants in the 1850s. And visit the Museum of Chinese in America. Number 5. Museums. Numerous museums may be found in New York City, one of the major hubs for culture and the arts worldwide. So many notable museums are housed in this area of Manhattan's Fifth Avenue that it has been given the moniker Museum Mile. Here are just a few of New York's most well-known museums: Impressionist, Post-Impressionist, Early Modern, and Contemporary art, as well as several temporary exhibitions, which are permanently housed in the Guggenheim Museum. The museum is renowned for its outstanding architecture, which features a central rotunda where the artwork is on exhibit. So even if Impressionism isn't your style, the Frank Lloyd Wright designed structure itself is a work of art. The MoMA, or Museum of Modern Art, is a venue for cinema and design exhibits and events, in addition to housing a collection of modern and contemporary art. Brooklyn's New York Transit Museum provides visitors with a fascinating look at the city's intricate transit system's history. The museum, housed at a disused subway station, features an assortment of subway trains dating back to its inception. Number 4. Grand Central Terminal. You may grab some lunch or go shopping till you drop at this lovely railway station, but recent visitors preferred to simply take it all in. Take some pictures of the elaborate Beaux-Arts neoclassical facade before you go inside. You will find gleaming marble flooring, gold and nickel-plated chandeliers, and a sky-themed ceiling inside the renowned main concourse. The information booth clock, the Whispering Gallery, and Grand Central Market, a food market with European influences that sells vegetables, gourmet goods, and delicacies, are other must-sees. There are, as noted, a ton of places to buy, although most tourists advise leaving the majority of Grand Central's expensive goods in the store. Number 3. Brooklyn Bridge. Brooklyn Bridge Park, an 85-acre sanctuary at the base of the well-known bridge between Manhattan and Brooklyn, is situated on the Brooklyn side of the East River. The park extends 1.3 miles along Brooklyn's coastline, between Columbia Heights and Dumbo, an eclectic area with shops, hip cafes, and restaurants. Dumbo is an abbreviation for Down Under the Manhattan Bridge Overpass. The views of the bridge, New York Harbor, and the lower Manhattan skyline are highly praised by tourists. Brooklyn Bridge Park, one of the city's newest parks, used to be an industrial area with a transit hub that functioned as a point of entry for immigrants. In addition to 6 piers and the riverside, the park now has undulating hills, promenades, playgrounds, basketball courts, sports fields, a roller rink, gardens, and more. Number 2. Wall Street. Without Wall Street, New York City most likely wouldn't be one of the major financial capitals in the world. Since the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, 2 of the biggest stock exchanges in the world, are both located on Wall Street, the name Wall Street has come to represent the American financial markets. Wall Street is a real street in Manhattan's financial sector. The New York Stock Exchange skyscraper is the most iconic structure on Wall Street. However, there are many other noteworthy structures nearby, such as Trinity Church and Federal Hall. Be sure to see the 2 outstanding monuments, Charging Bull in the neighboring Bowling Green Park and Fearless Girl in front of the stock market. Number 1. The Statue of Liberty. Visitors flock to this brightly flashing light all year long. So let's talk about your possibilities for visiting. The most common way is to take a ferry from Battery Park in Lower Manhattan to the statue on Liberty Island, then stop at Ellis Island before taking a boat back to the mainland. Recent travelers provide some advice on how to maximize your day. To board one of the first boats, first, get in line unusually early. A lot of recent visitors also advise purchasing a pedestal ticket, which has to be reserved in advance. Quantities are limited. The pedestal, which is nearly half as tall as the monument, provides sweeping views of Ellis Island, New Jersey, New York City, and the New York Harbor. Make sure to check out the links in the description to get the best deal on your trip. Which of these activities in New York City are you going to try out first? Tell us in the comments down below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and enable notifications so that we can keep bringing you more awesome content. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.